Look, do you agree with Leonard Susskind, the renowned physicist, who categorically and emphatically states that the universe exists in a mind-boggling state of being that it is fine-tuned, and if any of those parameters were altered by the most minute amount, life as we know it would not exist? Because that's what Leonard Susskind asserts.
Well, which is the thing that is more important? Like the fact that minds exist, or the fact that human beings exist? Because if minds can come about in like electrons and protons, we don't have to have all these complex entities. Then it seems like fine tuning with
You're speculating on an area we don't have access to.
Okay, but so is Susskind. So is Susskind, especially since
really. So when Susskind says, when Leonard Susskind asserts, and I can give you the link on YouTube, when he asserts that if any one of the multiple dozens of cosmological constants were minutely changed, life as we know it would not exist. Is he wrong about that?
Well, where is he getting? I mean, this is you ran this before. Where is he getting that? Where is he calculating that from?
He stated that it's well recognized among physicists.
Well, the issue is that the issue is the one that I brought up earlier, but also, again, where is this probabilistic claim stemming from? Is this probabilistic claim? It sounds like it's the normal.
Do we know what the
fine tuning? It sounds like.
Do we know what the value of gravity is?
Sure.
Okay, good.
There are psychophysical laws out there that allow for minds to arise. That's something that,
Okay, if the value of gravity were increased or decreased by a small amount, would life as we know it exist?
I mean, that's what he's claiming, and what I keep on repeating is where is this calculation coming from? If it's frequentism, then it's based on you're basing it off of past trials, and you're looking at the frequency of something arising based on past trials.
Does
he have past trials? No, I told you that. I think that he is pulling. I told you that he is pulling those. I'll be nicer this time. He's pulling them out of thin air.
Do you know who Leonard Susskind is?
I mean, I'll say it now. He's actually my dad, and
I'm asking you.
He's my dad, and he told me, hey, what appeals to authority? They're really weak.
I didn't make an appeal to authority.
To dodge a legitimate criticism of an actual argument.
I didn't make an argument to authority.
And I was like, hey,
I just simply stated what he said as to whether you think. Now, I said, are you aware of who he is?
Yeah, he's some famous dick.
Okay, do you know what his background is?
He was a cosmologist.
Well, actually, he is.
I'm not going to forget the probabilistic argument that I'm thinking of. If you keep bringing it further away from that.
He's a world-renowned physicist. Now, that doesn't mean anything a world-renowned physicist
my dad,
says
I know.
is ipso facto correct.
But you sure wanted to.
But
you're saying it to dodge the argument.
Okay, good. Now, when somebody is an expert in their field, okay, highly credentialed, it's at least worthy of considering what they're saying, right?
Sure, but he cancels out due to Sean Carroll. Now let's focus on my argument.
Okay, well, I haven't heard that. My point is this: that if the strong nuclear force were altered in a minute matter, up or down, then we would not have the formation of atoms, correct?
Sure. Wait, well, it depends. Hold on. I think I looked this up afterwards. I think it still depends on how he's coming to those probabilities. It
Okay,
depends
based
on
upon
that.
what we
That's why I
know,
keep on bringing it up, and that's why I just
Joe,
use Sean
based,
Carroll as a counter.
based upon what we know, not what we don't know, right? Because we could talk ad infinitum, ad nauseum about what we don't.
Speaking of what we don't know, it doesn't sound like you looked into the probabilistic formation of this argument.
Well, thank you for your opinion. Now,
Well,
if-
you haven't
if the-
since
if-
you
if the
failed to
value-
address it.
If the value of gravity were increased or decreased slightly, right, by a minute amount, relative to the possible range of values of gravity, based upon that, based upon what we do know, we would not have the formation of solar systems and planets and stars. Okay?
And where's the probabilistic calculation to
Okay,
come to that conclusion?
do you agree with that?
No, because you haven't given me, this is going to be like the 50th time. No,
Okay.
because you haven't given me the probabilistic argument to demonstrate that. You've only appealed to authority.
Okay, because if the value of gravity were increased or decreased, right, everything would drift apart after the assumed initial conditions of the universe, and I'm assuming your scenario of a Big Bang, that things
You
would...
don't accept the Big Bang?
No.
Isn't that important to this argument?
Yeah, what the fuck? You don't accept the Big Bang. How do you use Kalam?
Yeah.
The Big Bang it does not, accepting the Big Bang does not undermine the Kalam. It just means that the universe has to begin.
You don't, but so you think the universe began, but not with the Big Bang?
Not in the current paradigm.
What's affected in your case for God if you accept the Big Bang?
Well, I want to finish my line.
You're appealing to authority.
Yeah.
You don't know what the probability is. That's the ultimate conclusion of this issue.
If the value of gravity were increased or decreased slightly, would we have the formation of planets?
William Lane Craig accepts the Big Bang.
I don't.
Yeah, even William Lane Craig.
Why are you guys avoiding his line of reasoning, though?
I've addressed it, Arcane. What do you think I said? What was my response?
Let me repeat the question. If the value of gravity were increased or decreased by a small amount, would we have the formation of planets and stars?
It depends
I'm
on how
not sure. It depends on the probabilistic claim.
The answer is no.
The answer is and your answer is no, based off of what Papa Susskind says. And
No,
I can just
he-
appeal
no,
to an.
no,
I can just
I didn't get
I
that.
can
I didn't
appeal.
get that.
I can
didn't get
appeal
that.
to an equally. I can appeal to an equally.
Okay. Obviously,
well,
you don't understand. Obviously you don't understand the fact that
Look up the frequentism argument.
If you were to decrease the value of gravity, all right, under a Big Bang scenario, you wouldn't have the formation of planets and stars.
Well, it depends on. I mean, this is the issue. You have to
Do you
look at
understand
what
that?
are the likely. Yeah.
Can you respond specifically to what I
I'm trying
said?
to respond to you, Darwin. It's really, really obvious. It's not obvious to the flat earther, but it's really, really obvious that you're really falling apart here.
Obvious to
This
the
is
ape.
the issue. This is the
I'm not
issue,
falling-
Darwin.
I'm not
You're
falling apart
assuming.
here. I
You're
asked you a
assuming.
question.
Okay, and I'm trying to answer. You're assuming that that we have to keep all the other constants exactly the same. But if we're using frequentism to come to these conclusions, there's no reason why we have to keep the other constants exactly the same.
I didn't address that. Okay.
Because you don't know what I'm talking. You don't know.
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
don't
do
know
know what
about the
you're talking about.
probabilistic argument.
Yeah, I'm very familiar. Okay, so it's very similar to the line of reasoning that Victor Stenger uses.
No. This is a line of
that is not immediately germane to what my question is to you. Now I'll ask the question.
Exactly.
No, it is not immediately germane. Notice I didn't dismiss what you said, that it's not relevant to the discussion.
But you're really hoping it will be forgotten in your.
Why are you avoiding this question?
My question
I
to
answered
you,
it, Arcane.
Okay,
Darwin's,
Joe,
I
my
think that
question to
Arcane
you-
doesn't know my answer, though. Can I repeat my answer to Arcane? Because he seems to think that I'm avoiding.
You haven't really addressed
Yes,
my
I have.
question.
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I
Joe,
said that your claim
If all
depends
of the parameters of the universe, as we currently infer that they are, those provisional understandings of the cosmological constants, remain the same as we think of them now, and only the value of gravity were altered by
that
a
was
minute
changed.
amount,
Yes.
would we have the formation of planets and stars?
I agreed to that, but then I said, and this
Is that
is
a
the
yes,
important
Joe?
part. What part of I agreed to that is not
Okay.
synonymous with saying yes to
Yes or
you?
no
Okay,
answer.
good.
I did
good.
answer the question. Are you two
Now-
like?
Just
Now,
say
Joe.
affirmative, like Terminator. affirmative.
Now,
No, he
Joe.
only wants me to say yes because he wants to pile over the.
Enough with the form, guys. Nobody care. I don't care about form.
You
Just
don't care? Okay, you just want me to say yes or no. Interesting. Okay, I'll just say yes or no from now on.
no. You
No,
misunderstood, Joe. I don't
listen,
care.
you guys,
I don't care how
you
you
guys are
affirm.
very dumb.
I don't care how
very
you
dumb.
affirm or deny it. I was actually
David,
saying-
right now you're telling me I can only give yes or no,
No, I was.
answers.
Yes or
I'm
no
actually
question.
on your side on this.
It's not a yes or no question. It just shows how much you don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
Are you playing Call of Duty
I
right
was
now?
saying-
Like, you're doing well in
Oh
Call
my
of Duty
goodness.
right now.
It's a yes or no question. He asked you if the
Okay,
force
guys,
of gravity
let's
were
stop.
altered. Excuse me, David. I was talking. He was asking you a
David,
direct question
come on,
as a
man.
yes or no answer. If gravity was changed or altered at any time during the initial conditions of the universe, would there be planets as we know them today? It's a yes or no question, and then you can elaborate after you say yes or no. But it really is a yes or no question, Joe. Cut the
Okay,
BS.
so your criticism is that I said I agree to that instead of saying yes.
Okay.
You
okay.
even
nothing to agree. He asked you a question,
would allow Arcane. Maybe we should just clear this up with Arcane. When
It
you
would
say
be
I
something
agree
to
to
agree
that,
to if it was a proposition.
Arcane. When you say I agree to that, it's just saying yes.
It's off of a proposition.
I'll keep it more simple for you.
Yeah, I was saying, Joe, can we cut the semantics and just stick to the issue? Because this.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I'm
So my
sorry for
next
saying
question-
I
my
agree
next
to that. You
question-
got. Oh wait, I
Okay,
can't.
good.
Wait, Arcane said I can elaborate though.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I could say yes, but in the when you're using frequencies as a probabilistic claim in your probabilistic claim, there's no reason to suppose that has to be the case. There's no reason to suppose that all the other psychophysical laws have to remain the same, and only what is it? You said the gravitational constant,
Are you
whatever.
denying that?
That has to change. Arcane, you said I could do this.
You're not really giving an answer. You're just saying, well, there's no really reason to think this. There's no really reason to think that. You're not addressing him. You're just dodging. It's pathetic.
It's not dodging. Arcane, are you? What
Okay,
time is it where
are
you
you
are?
done? Because I'd like to ask you the second question.
Okay.
Because
What's up? What did Suskin say now?
Okay, so well, first of all, I'm not merely getting this information. I'm just
Sounds
I'm
like
just
you are,
citing the
and
No,
I don't
and
think
I
I'm
see
the only
that.
one who thinks that.
Okay, well, no, that's simply not the case. It's widely regarded within cosmology and physics that there are, at least now, on average, several dozen independent cosmological constants that are provisional conclusions. Do you agree with that?
You've already said this.
Do you agree with that?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Why?
Okay. Are each of these constants of the multiple dozens considered as we now know them to each exist in a state of narrow parameters?
No.
Do you want to double down on that?
I mean, I've given the reason why I think that.
No, I didn't ask you what you might surmise might be the case. I said, what is the prevailing provisional consensus about the nature of the independent cosmological constants? Do the cosmological constants as we now think that we know it, as opposed to how they might be. Okay? Now, do each of these cosmological constants, as we now know it, exist within a very narrow parameters?
No.
Okay, you're flat out 100%
Yes,
wrong.
100%.
It is. You are 100% wrong. It is the current reigning paradigm within physics.
I mean, if I'm not allowed to explain myself, you know what? You're right. You haven't talked enough. Go ahead, continue.
You've been talking quite a bit. I've been silent for a long time. I haven't overtalked you. I've bent over backwards to keep silent.
Freaking paradigm. Continue.
Okay. It is widely recognized and accepted in physics, and especially astrophysics, as you already agreed, that there are at least several dozen cosmological constants, and it is widely recognized, as far as we think that we know, that these cosmological constants currently exist in terms of their current values within very narrow constraints. All right? Now, for you to deny that means that you have to deny what is one of the prevailing scientific paradigms, which is, I won't say nearly universal, but it's close among physicists. Now, that is a separate issue from planet formation or life arising in some other parameters that they might imagine. I'm not even discussing that. I'm not discussing the pros or cons of that. I'm just asking you is if each of the cosmological constants that we hold to, that they have, each of them have extremely narrow parameters that we now understand them to be. So you either accept, reject, or you don't know of that consensus. So is there a consensus on the state of narrow parameters of the cosmological constants, Joe?
Consensus that they exist?
No.
That there's a narrow parameter?
That each of the cosmological constants currently exist within very narrow parameters.
For life to arise.
I didn't say that.
Well, you're going to have to say that if you want.
I'm just asking you.
You can't be that vague, man. You gotta like put your foot down. You gotta.
I think it's coming across like you're dodging my question.
No, it's not. You know it.
It is.
I mean, I want you. I'm gonna head out, but I want you to look up frequencies.
I'm not surprised. I would too.
I want you, Darwin. I want you to look it up, and I think yeah. And yeah. I mean,
you don't have an answer. You don't have an answer to my second question,
dude. I've answered you like 4 times. You can go back and listen to it.
I didn't get a clear answer.
I mean, you made it so I can only give yes or no. I couldn't even say I agree. So I don't know how to make it any clear. I don't know how to make it any clearer to you anymore.
The question that I asked was very clear. Specific.
I mean, you're appealing to authority, you're appealing to consensus, and you're not even appealing to the fine-tuning argument showing that life has to arise. You're not even making that claim. You're not even like trying, man.
Joe, do we know what the value of electromagnetism is?
This is a clear dodge, everyone. A clear dodge. Right now, a clear dodge, everyone. What's a Dylan? I'm not a big fan of Dylan in terms of argument. He's changing the topic though, David.
No, I'm not changing the value. The value of electromagnetism is a concept. The value of electromagnetism is one of several dozen cosmological constants. So I'm giving you a specification and not just a generalization. Do we have a provisional conclusion as to what the value of electromagnetism is?
I mean, Yeah, I mean, these are
that-
well, no, you don't even want to contend that they're psychophysical laws.
Okay, Joe, I'll ask the question again. Is there a current consensus?
I said yes,
Okay,
and then I
trying to get my-
said that the find. Oh, okay, hold on. You want to repeat it again, and I'll say yes again. Go ahead.
This is amazing. Is there currently a consensus about a provisional conclusion, because all conclusions in science are provisional, as to the value of electromagnetism?
Yes.
Okay, now, so right now we have two cosmological constants that you have agreed with, that they each exist within an astronomical narrow parameter, right?
I mean, well, I don't think you can make that claim anymore if you're not going to say that it leads to life to come about. I mean, that's the point of
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question.
Look, I'm not gonna play yes or no browbeat someone into accepting appeals with money. I'm not interested in you like you're deteriorated to making it so your opponent can't even like elaborate on a point they're making. That's just how minuscule your argument has become. I mean,
do you agree or not agree?
Who is interested in having a clear and a legit debate only wants their opponent to say yes or no, and that's it. Do you agree that the two cosmological constants that were invoked are recognized as a consensus in science to each have values that are of an astronomically narrow parameter? Well, if we go beyond what you have the courage to claim, to say that that's with respect to the ultimate, like, I guess, actualization of human life, yes, but you're not even willing
I didn't ask you about human life. I asked you, is there a current consensus among physicists as to the provisional conclusions that we have about the values of those two cosmological constants and their respective values of those two that I cited exist within an astronomically narrow parameter? Do you agree with that or not?
Well, this is, I think, the third time. Yeah, it with respect to life coming about. That's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about.
I didn't mention. I was referring to physics, not biology.
Well, ultimately, to have a life
Joe,
generating universe.
I asked you a physics question, not a biology question.
I mean, Darwin's like when you go, man, the way he had to say yes to that argument.
Joe, did I ask you a physics question?
I pigeonholed him to. Like, do you think that it's really slick to like relegate your opponent to just
Joe,
say yes or no?
I didn't ask you any biology question. I didn't ask you any biology questions.
It's about life permitting universes. I mean, that's a statement.
No, I asked you a physics question.
I mean, I answered it.
Okay, is the answer yes?
I mean, there's more to it, but if you only want me to give you yes or no answers, then I guess no.
You say yes because da.
I can't say the because though. You hear him, David. You know what's happening, David. I think it's kind of. I mean.
Okay.
You know what's happening. If an I mean, look, if you feel like an atheist does this to you, and I should be stepping up, dude, I will take that criticism seriously. And if you appeal to me, and you say, look, this guy is only letting me give yes or no answers to loaded questions that are not that
Excuse
are
me, how is what I asked you a loaded question? How did I ask you a loaded question?
Okay, go ahead.
David, if you feel that way when you're in another room, and if you appeal to my assistance, I will help you. And I'm sorry if I haven't done it in the past.
Excuse me,
because I'm going through it right now, and it sucks ball.
Okay, Joe, were you suggesting I asked you a loaded question?
Whatever, like someone who's asking questions that only a douchebag would ask. Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
Were you suggesting that I asked you a loaded question?
I just revised my original statement to not make that claim.
Okay, good. So, it wasn't clear to me. Did you agree or not agree that the two constants that I mentioned are currently
Just in general,
believed-
David, is this like fun for you or something?
Excuse me.
What do you
I'm
want me to
talking.
be a referee? I
Is
told
my mic working? Is my mic?
I want you to answer the question.
Joe, I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to pull silence
You don't have to agree with him to still accept your God. You don't have to agree with his tactics.
Okay,
to
Joe, I'd like to finish my
still
question.
affirm that the Christian God exists. There's better ways
Is
of
my mic
doing
working?
it.
Can somebody confirm that my mic is working?
Yeah, your mic is working, but you're being uninteresting. So I'm trying to ask someone who's more
Joe,
interesting the question.
I didn't hear a clear answer to my my question, so I'll repeat the question. Of those two cosmological constants that I referred to, is it widely recognized among physicists that they currently exist in an astronomically narrow state of parameters?
I'm only yes or no, right? Darwin? Only yes or no, right? You're not even gonna tell me.
You could say I don't know.
No. Oh, okay. I can't say yes, but only with respect to. That's too far.
Mm-hmm.
That's too far.
Are you aware that there is a consensus about the nature and parameters of the cosmological constants, or not?
David, don't worry about it, but just know that if you do appeal to my help, I'll throw down for you. Don't worry about it. Darwin, you can ask yes or no questions and be a lame wad with some other atheist.
Why is me asking you a question so problematic for you, Joe?
Well, the issue is like you don't want to have a debate. You just want to browbeat someone into like.
I didn't browbeat you. I asked you a question. How did I browbeat you? How did I browbeat you?
I mean, if it took so long for you to understand even yes responses to the same questions you've been asking, I'm not gonna.
Okay, so your answer is yes then.